What's going on, Halloween fans? My name's Dave McRae. So in this video, I want to talk a bit about that Lonnie, Michael Myers behind the bush deleted scene that did not make it into the theatrical cut of Halloween Kills. Although I believe, I stand to be corrected, but I believe it is in the extended cut of Halloween Kills. But nonetheless, I think it should have been there from the get-go. From the get-go. It is something that I would have left in. Now, the question then becomes, well, why was it removed, right? Why would they have removed that from the movie? I mean, it's so awesome. And there's a lot of Halloween fans out there, myself included, that think it's a really nice moment that should have been left in. And I'll get to my reasons why here in a second. But there's a multitude of reasons why it may have been removed. The scene is about 59 seconds long. And that might not seem like a long time, but in the world of film, when you're cutting picture together and you're trying to establish a pace, 59 seconds is a long time, a really long time. And because the scene is more nuanced and there's more breathing room and we really slow some things down, it could have been a matter of pace. It could have been a matter of that we are showing Lonnie having two encounters with the shape. And maybe they thought, well, you know what? Maybe we should just kind of pick one here. This is a bit repetitive, even though they're different encounters. Why don't we go with this one because it's a little more kind of dramatic as opposed to this one? That could have been the case too. There's many reasons why it could have been removed. Now, one could make the argument and say, well, it's back in there now. And it's like, well, yes, it's in the extended cut, but there's no guarantees that the extended cut, even though you can rent it, there's no guarantees that that's the one that's going to be readily available. That's the one that's going to wind up on television. That's the one that's going to, embed itself into the Halloween zeitgeist. Generally speaking, it's going to be the theatrical cut of something. So that's why I'm like, they should have just left it in there anyway. So it's in there. So there isn't a version where there is one and there's a version where there isn't one. No, it's just in there. So it doesn't matter which one you rent or which one winds up on TV or is on the shelf at Best Buy or wherever. It's in there. Do you know what I mean? And that's kind of why I'm like, well, yeah, yes, but you know what I'm saying? So what is it for me about this moment that if it were left up to me, I would have kept it in? What is it that I really like about this moment? Well, contrary to what maybe most of you are probably thinking, Michael standing by the bush, although that's great, is actually far down on the rung or far down on reasons why I actually really like this moment. He could have been standing by a car. He could have been doing this with, a tree, the side of the house. I mean, yes, the bush is great because obviously it's like, 1978. It's like he did that in the original movie. And that's great. I mean, it's fan service. I get it. But ironically, that's actually the least of the reasons why. But for me, it really has to do with slowing the pace down. I don't mean slowing it to a crawl. I just mean slowing it down, giving the moment time to breathe, right? And playing it straight. See, there's a similar moment in Halloween 18 where when Oscar is in the backyard, he's half in the bag, he's drunk, right? And he looks over to his left and he sees Michael kind of just standing there, kind of in the bushes a little bit, kind of underneath the trees or whatever. But there's a weird dichotomy that's sort of happening during that moment because you have Michael doing his Michael thing, but then you have the character of Oscar, because he's really drunk, sort of playing the scene for laughs, right? And it is funny. I mean, I laughed, did you ever chase a girl? Did you ever have a girl get away from you? Whatever he said, right? It was funny. But I much prefer this approach. And it really all comes down to, like I said, allowing the moment to breathe. And by allowing the moment to breathe and executing the scene in the way that you did, you're building a little bit of suspense. Let's go over to the other screen and watch the scene together. And I'll walk you through it and point out some of those things that I really like. Now, I'm going to have the volume on mute because obviously I don't want to get dinged for copyright. They may still ding me anyway because I'm showing the actual image, but I figured if I could remove 50% of, the problem, maybe they'll be like, oh, that's okay. This guy's okay. Probably not. But anyway, we shall see. And I'll walk you through it and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. Exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. Here we go. Let's jump over to the other screen here. Here is Lonnie he's walking along the street. This is just after the moment he had with those other kids and the cop car. And he's like, what are you guys doing out here? There were 3 murders down the street and there's a guy in a white mask. And it's just after that moment. Okay. So he's He's walking along here. Let's just hit play. There we go. You just hear the environment and the leaves rustling and the wind blowing, just walking along. And then he sees the shape. And you hear, down, 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 down. He doesn't rush over there right away, right? We're giving this moment time to breathe. He's just looking. He's just watching, right? He's not rushing over there. And he looks back. He's still not going over there, right? Doon, 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 doon. And now he's slowly walking over. Doon, doon. Doon, doon. Again, just really sort of just drawing this out a little bit. We're drawing it, and he gets over, he goes, and he's not there. And it's like, what the hell, right? What's going on? And then, of course, this is where we pick up in the actual theatrical cut. So it's not that, this is the most suspenseful scene of all time. Of course not. But with two films that are largely void of this kind of nuance and these kind of moments that allow scenes to breathe, not all together. I mean, Halloween Kills had that nice moment when Lindsay was hiding, right? And the shape was on the bridge looking around. That's probably the most suspenseful moment we've had in any of these two movies. But in my estimation, I want more of that. I don't mean, you throw up a bunch of those moments. You can go overboard too. There's still a story you got to tell here, folks. But when those moments happen, because they happen so infrequently, and because they are such an important part of the DNA of the character of Michael Myers and what Halloween is, again, these movies are direct sequels to the original Halloween only. And because that's a very important part of the DNA of that film, it's nice to see when it's there, and it's not something I would have deleted. Now, one last thing I want to mention before I go is this really cool thing I noticed, and maybe you noticed it, maybe you didn't. This is sort of like, you got to have a sharp eye for this, but I tend to pick up on these things. And if you haven't noticed it and you really like this scene, it will probably help you to appreciate this scene even more. Now, whether this was a conscious choice from Aaron Armstrong, or whether this was actual direction from David Gordon Green, or whether this was just a happy accident, I don't know. But it works well, and it makes the moment far more effective, even if you're not picking up on it consciously, but your subconscious mind has picked up on it. So we all know that, let me go back to the other screen here. We all know that Lonnie sees the shape by the bush here, right? There he is. There's the shape. There he is. And Aaron Armstrong will pivot. He'll turn and he'll walk behind the bush. But what he does, if you look down here, because there's some gaps and openings there, we can actually see him. Now, it might be difficult to see this on your phone. You may have to watch this on your big TV or your big projection screen or wherever you watch these films. It might be difficult to see it here. But you will see that Aaron Armstrong walks along the bush. He's walking along the bush line. Well, if you walk along the bush line, you're going to hit the house, right? And that's why it works. He doesn't turn around and sort of walk diagonally where we can kind of see him, he kind of pivots and he turns and he gives us the impression that he's walking towards this pole here, which would allow us to believe that he's walking around the pole and around the back of the house or whatever, or the front of the house, or wherever that is, right? No, he walks along the bush line, which doesn't make any sense when Lonnie gets there and looks, because all he sees is just a fucking wall. So it's like, well, where did he go? Did he walk through the wall? Clearly, logic tells us that no, he would have walked around the house. But again, you're playing into that vibe, into that supernatural element a little bit, right? Playing into that sort of thing that Michael Myers has. So again, if you just pay close attention here, get my cursor here. Aaron Armstrong will pivot. Watch in here. He's walking right along the bush line. See it? He's walking along the bush line. You can actually see it if you blow this up. He's walking right along the bush line, which is really cool because it's like, did he walk through the house? What the hell happened here? I have no idea. Again, not a huge deal. It's subtle. It's nuanced, but your subconscious mind may pick up on that, which makes the reveal, the moment he turns the corner, much more effective. Again, logic tells us he obviously walked around somewhere, right? But it just plays into that, ooh, that's eerie. That's weird. Oh, dude, he just obviously walked around the house. Well, yeah, I know, but that's still weird. It's just eerie. You know what I mean? It's those subtleties that make the Shape's character so effective. Anyways, folks, my name's Dave McRae. Comment below and let me know your thoughts on this deleted scene. Would you have left it in? Would you have taken it out? Comment below and let me know your thoughts. If you want to follow me on social media, you can. There are my links right there. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all my links are in the description. Check them out until your heart's content. And when your heart is content, check them out again. That's going to do it for me. In the meantime and in between time, I will talk to you soon. Cheers.